I heard murmurings that Runeterra is getting like revamped, or they're not going to make like new cards or something. I only was reading it on Twitter, so kind of want to read what's happening with Runeterra from Riot Games. Let me just see what this is. All right, we want to specify or specifically address two areas where you'll see immediate impact from today's changes: Legend of Runeterra and Riot Forge. As Legend of Runeterra continues its journey, we're making changes to move the game towards sustainability. Is it not I guess so. Currently, it's not sustainable whatsoever. Maybe it's like the game's sustainable, I think, in terms of player base, but the problem is that Riot probably loses a lot of money from the game because like the monetization isn't great and it doesn't have like the same appeal as cosmetics as like it does in Hearthstone. And I don't know if like you can't really physically buy anything for the game. So unless you really like the lore, the champions, and the gameplay loop, I think Runeterra just is in a really awkward spot. So I'm sure the people who really like it a lot, though. We know there's a passionate community who absolutely love this game. We do too. I mean, okay, I gotta just read the next sentence. Despite critical achievements on the role it's played in helping to build the community of World of Runeterra, Legend of Runeterra has faced financial challenges since launch, costing significantly more to develop and support than it generates. So this is weird because I think that Riot knew that Runeterra wasn't going to be financially successful based on how they did the monetization in the game, because the main benefit that people always talk about for Runeterra is the game is really free to play. It's super easy to get into because you get a bunch of cards. So I almost feel like this shouldn't even be here. It's kind of like a facepalm moment because I feel like Riot knows, unless we obviously don't know the behind the scenes aspect, but maybe they're losing a significant amount of income. We don't know, like to get some of the art and the animations in the game, it has to take time, and people obviously they have a design team, they have a balance team. So I mean, it's definitely unfortunate, but I don't know if Riot didn't know this from the very beginning. Well, let's continue reading. In response, we're reducing the size of our team and renewing our focus on the path of champions. This shift allows the team to experiment more in the PVE space, concentrate on the game mode where players have been spending the most time. Wow. Path of Champions is the most popular thing in Runeterra. So that's like the dungeon run equivalent in Hearthstone. I guess it makes sense. It seems like people really liked it when I was playing. People kept telling me to play it. It's also really well designed. I think it maybe fits the vibe of Runeterra a little bit more because the champions kind of interact with like an ongoing story. I did like the 10-hour video for Runeterra talking about how my biggest gripe with the game is just it takes too long because of not takes too long. It's very annoying to play sometimes because you have to constantly pay attention to the button, and the button is like really, I mean, it's a part of the game for sure, but it's probably the biggest downfall from like a casual audience. And then if you want to go more extreme, I feel like people just go to Magic. So it kind of makes sense that Path of Champions is so popular. By the way, this is the video, and this is the button I'm talking about. The Legend of Runeterra has more details here, and we have planned for the video. Okay, I'm gonna read this after. Okay, Riot Forge is the other company that's doing, or the other like thing under Riot that's making those weird games. After the upcoming release of Bandle Tale: A League of Legends Story, Forge was an experiment to see what would happen when Rioters partnered with their favorite indie devs to let them loose on Runeterra with their unique viewpoints, styles, and expertise across 6 titles spanning different games. Yeah. It's inspiring to see what these devs created, proud of what they've done together, stories, but it's time to refocus our efforts on the ambitious projects underway internally at Riot. So this probably means, if I had to take a guess just from this, they're focusing the people who are designing like these weird, not weird, but like different indie games that include Runeterra lore into like the MMO. That's what I would imagine. So let's read this super long 2024 game, whatever the hell this is, because this is going to be very interesting. Hey everyone, I'm Dave. What's up, Dave? Executive producer and game director of Legend of Runeterra. I wanted to catch up with you about the game that's going on in Runeterra, and after the news today, take a moment to talk about what that means for the future of the game. So up in here, why we're here today. The truth is that despite Legend of Runeterra being an incredibly game developed in tandem with the community, Legend of Runeterra has struggled years to find its footing as a business. While we are Riot are extremely passionate about Legend of Runeterra in our community, we also need to ensure Legend of Runeterra is sustainable as a business so that we're going to continue investing in the games, experiences, and player across our ecosystem. However, We haven't been able to get a point of sustainability with our approach thus far. So, okay, Runeterra came out what year? 2020? It came out like just at the start of COVID, if I remember correctly. So that means in almost basically 4 years, Riot hasn't figured out a way to actually get the monetization appropriate to where it can sustain the game and the future of it, which makes you wonder why like Marvel Snap took such a, I don't want to call it greedy, but such a different way of monetizing their game. It's kind of unfortunate. Oh my God. You hate to see it, man. In alignment with larger Riot changes, we need to make some hard decisions about the future of Runterra. Starting today and continuing over the next few months, we will begin the process of reducing the size and scope of the Runterra team that is focused on sustainability and making the game you love. Unfortunately, this does mean that Legend of Runeterra has been impacted by Riot's organizational changes. This is obviously not an outcome that anyone wanted, but we truly believe that this more focused team will propel Legend of Runeterra towards the point of sustainability for our community. So they're really going for less content and just more making sure the game is still like good for people who want to play it. That's basically the way I just read that. Towards the point of sustainability for our community. It's like, yeah, we have a really good community that wants to continue playing our game, so we're going to focus on that rather than bringing more stuff into the game. There are lots still of things to be excited for the future. Okay, never mind, just fuck what I said. But over the next few weeks, we'll be focused on people and the impact from these changes. I've talked about this before, but how are we more leggers focused on what we work on? We invested a lot of time and research in Runeterra to give the team as much runway as possible in an attempt to make the business work. And the truth is we haven't been able to do that. Every shift over the last couple of years has been done to meet the goal of achieving sustainability, but that has required other games here at Riot to subsidize Runeterra's exploration to find a business model that works. It's interesting that like Runeterra can't operate at a loss for Riot, because I would think that Riot Games makes so much money from skins. We know that these constant shifts have meant a lot of whiplash for you around a direction, that this is a reduction in our scope may feel like a blow. However, this current path is destined to provide Runeterra a way forward to enable us to keep the game around for players. Oh, okay. Well, I mean, at least the game's going to be around. It's not going to just shut down. As we regrouped as a team, Runeterra will once again recenter and refocus, this time with the rising star of Path of Champions forming the core of the business. The Path of Champions is already popular and rewarding experience enjoyed by the majority of our audience. We try to explore what else we can delight players within this space. Okay, I will say this before continuing here. This is kind of okay, because if like they understand that the most popular mode in Runeterra is the Path of Champions, like Slay the Spire is a really successful game that has no multiplayer PvP action. So if they can make a really good like roguelite Riot experience with champions and things that people love, like this is definitely not the worst thing to be happening to the game. Like it's not like DC Dual Force, which is just getting shut down. It could be worse, but obviously it's still very bad. The new refocused team will be led by my good friend and strategist, Eric, who has done incredible work over the past few years to make Runeterra the best product it can be while preserving what makes it a great game. Eric brings a fresh perspective to the leadership of the team and is excited to continue Runeterra's community as the advocate for both within the Runeterra leadership team as well as the broader League Studios team. Cannot wait to see what the team comes up with under his leadership as executive producer. As for me, I spent 5 years on Runeterra team, first as card designer, and eventually gameplay design lead, and as the head gameplay. And then as the head of gameplay and game director, and now finally executive producer. Over my time of the game, I've seen a lot of big, exciting swings. I'm really proud of the diversity of champions, including Nora, Jack, and Alder Dragon, and deck archetypes we've had throughout the years. It's a testament to show of her DNA, design, narrative, and art team that we were able to deliver such high quality content time after time. Experiments like Lab of Legends have surpassed our expectations, and now it's its own fully featured mode with Path of Champions. The goal is lean into and deliver on those successful pieces in a more sustainable way, continue to produce champions that players know and love, and more Path of Champions content. This is your game in partnership with Eric and the other dedicated devs. An even greater game it shall be. My time with Runeterra is ending, but I'll still be here. Okay, see, this guy's leaving. Okay, so Dave's leaving. Dude, that's kind of crazy, man. It makes you wonder, like... So basically, from what I understand, Runeterra is being shut down because in the PvP cards, there's no way for them to actually make enough money, or they haven't found a way for them to make enough money for it to be sustainable. So that means all the effort they're putting into art, designing cards, is basically just losing them money guaranteed, which kind of sucks ass considering Runeterra is a pretty great game. But again, this is kind of like Blizzard with duels. The game is not bad. It just almost feels like Riot didn't give a fuck about it. like that's what it seems like from like the greater community aspect of it. It always feels like Runeterra never really got a chance to shine, just because it's a card game that Riot didn't want to support. But I don't know. I feel like I feel like they designed this game to be like the competition of Hearthstone, but then people realized it wasn't going to be like Hearthstone, so that maybe pulls people away slightly, because it's a much more engaging game than it is with than in Hearthstone. Hearthstone's casual. So I wonder, like, if the problem was that why would you play Runterra if you could just play Magic? They're only making PvE content, not updating anything else. Well, okay. So Hearthstone at least they make content like a year ahead of time. So there's no, even if the Hearthstone team came out tomorrow and said we're no longer making new cards, we would still get new cards for the time being. It would just slow down after a year. So I would imagine the Runeterra team has some stuff like ready to go for their players in the upcoming expansions, I should say. But after that point, there will be like nothing else. So I don't know, man. The Path of Champions seems like it's a pretty good game. I feel like if they could really make Path of Champions something insane and make it like a Slay the Spire type game with maybe some PvP behind the scenes, it could be really, really good. It's interesting. Now that they definitely take a big toll for the skins, and now they're going to introduce team skin bundles, it does appear they'll have an influx. Yeah, I don't know, man. I feel really bad though. Like the game is good. The people who made the game did a really good job. It's just from a League of Legends player standpoint, why would I ever want to play Runeterra unless the game was like easier to pick up? Also, why am I playing Runeterra over TFT? I guess is the bigger question. I think that's probably what the conclusion is. Because if you're someone who is playing Runeterra, like you have to really like Runeterra. Feels like they thought all the people who play LoL will play Runterra and also give us money, but the audience for the game. No, but like, I don't know. There's no way they thought that was going to be the case, right? I think it's easier. Okay, the reason why Hearthstone was so successful was because the game is super easy to pick up. So if you're someone who's never played a card game, which was a lot of the people who tried Hearthstone for the first time, it was easy to play and, continue playing because the game didn't overwhelm you. Where now it's like with Runterra, like you had to really be invested into what was happening. You have to really be invested into what was happening. I don't know. It's fucking brutal, bro. What is the Reddit thing of this? Oh my God. Let's go to the Reddit. I want to see what the people are saying. No marketing, no integration with the League client, few types of monetization. Oh my God. Monetizable cosmetics. Legend of Terror Riot. Legend of Fairly's business. I mean, yeah, I don't know. It's tough. Heartbreaking news coming today. Yeah, it's tough. I wonder what's going to happen, man. I wonder what's going to happen. What is this post? I wonder how Sunny's feeling. Did anyone watch Mogwai today? How's Mogwai feeling about this? Feels like a difficult in between point of Hearthstone and MTG. Runeterra was too complicated for most players to get easily into, but not enough depth. I mean, the game definitely had depth. The problem is I think a lot of people had the logic of like, why would I play Runeterra when I can play Magic? But also, if they're trying to pull people who are interested in League, there's way better things they could put their time into. Right? I think like Riot is completely aware of the fact that the MMO is going to be much more successful than Runeterra will ever be. So if you're a business and you're like, why am I going to be supporting a card game that doesn't get a ton of player base and does cost us a lot of money when I could put way more effort into an MMO or another game that they might be working behind the scenes and get a lot more value from it? It's really tough. Again, we have no numbers, but it's coming from like their community. The community has clearly said like, I don't know about this, guys. Like there's clearly not enough players for them to like, you could take like you can actually get a pretty good estimate of like how many people actually played this game. So let's go Hearthstone for the base, right? And then you go Marvel Snap. Then you go Legends of Runeterra. Now, to be clear, I don't think Hearthstone is very successful at the moment, but there probably is a discrepancy between these games, right? Yeah, you can see it. You can kind of see it right there. Hearthstone's the most popular at the moment over the past 30 days. And then this is Marvel Snap, and then Runeterra is even lower. And then you pull out Magic the Gathering, right? You get Magic the Gathering, it's probably even higher, right? Magic is huge. And then you also pull out Yu-Gi-Oh!, which is its own thing. I'll just do Master Duel for the sake of argument here. And yeah, like Runeterra is still the lowest. So like the card game is being a card game in the current climate of card games is really difficult, just because you're competing against the literal tyrants of Magic the Gathering and Yu-Gi-Oh! And then you also have to think about, why would if I'm a Runeterra player, or if I'm trying to get into a card game and I don't want to play these two, which one am I going to play? Right. And you're going to pick the ones that take the least amount of time to actually like have fun with. And I think that's the biggest problem with Runterra. Runterra has this severe issue of like being difficult enough where you don't want to spend a lot of time into. And maybe that's why Path of Champions is so fun, is because it's an easier learning curve. It's kind of crazy. Imagine if Runterra was just in the league line along with TFT. Yeah, but it's not the same game. I think the reason why TFT works is because they're literally pulling the assets from the client from League and they put it in. I'm worried about League, to be honest. We had the best year in a long time, Riot doing new stuff and the most ambitious Destiny new game modes, and now they're scaling back the scope of the company. League's going to be fine. They're not touching League. Dude, League makes so much money for Riot Games. It is insane. Valorant makes so much money for the game. So like they're probably going to focus on Valorant, not Runeterra, Valorant, League of Legends, and their MMO, and then probably the fighting game whenever it comes out. Like League is a game that's going to be around until Riot actually just wants to kill it, but it's too good. It's too good. What if Magic the Gathering did a collab with League of Legends? It probably would never happen. Actually, I think they did, right? They did one for Arcane. I think they did one for Arcane. Card games have basically on the decline since people who played card games have moved to auto chess games. Yeah, that's also the other thing. Like TFT and Hearthstone Battlegrounds are very successful because people really like the genres that are being presented to them, because it's just have fun and then let the things do itself. You don't have to think about it too much at the highest level, at least, right? And then we go from there. What did you print here? Yeah, they did the Arcane. Yeah. I don't know about the MMO. Really, MMOs compete with WoW and FF. I mean, people love Runeterra, like the lore. Like I'm someone who doesn't even play MMOs, and I'll probably try out the League of Legends MMO because I'm very excited for it. I don't know. It's brutal, bro. I feel so bad for them because when I got to speak to the Runeterra team, they look like they seem like a bunch of amazing people. And it's unfortunate that the game is just never really had its footing. I wonder what the most popular Runeterra video is. Give me a second here. If I do like Legends of Runeterra, and then I go to filters. Hey, there's my boy Sunny. And then I do view counts. What's the highest one? So the highest one for Runeterra. This is going to show me League of Legends stuff though. Oh my God. Okay, we'll scroll down until we find it. Let's see how long it takes before I actually see something that's Runeterra related. Okay, so 1.3 million, 1.5 million. Okay, now just take this in for a second. You can see how different the landscape of these games are. If I go Hearthstone and then I sort it by view count, 8 million, 5.8 million just for their thing. It's crazy. Yeah, just never even gone close. I don't know. I still think it's possible for them to do a really good job with Path of Champions and have a very successful game. Like if Slay the Spire is successful, Runeterra could definitely do it because the world is so good. I don't know. It's a shame. I don't know if it's dead, but it's on life support probably. It's tough, dude. It's tough. It sucks. I feel really bad.